Northern Arizona, okay, and then he went to San Jose State, okay. He wasn't at any of the major universities where he was the lead guy sitting in the lead seat, okay. Then he got a chance to go up to the San Francisco 49ers, and he was John Benton, his assistant. John happened to be my graduate assistant at one time, and he got to work for John. Okay, and John is a great teacher of technique. Okay, and then he got a chance to get with the Green Bay Packers, and I was the offensive line coach of the Green Bay Packers, and does a great job, and you're going to really enjoy it. Adam, your show, buddy.
Cool, appreciate it, Bob. Well, welcome to my office, guys. This is kind of a cool deal where you can all just come in and hang out and let's talk some football. I'm really excited about this opportunity. This is an honor to be here, and talk ball with you guys and talk O-line play. So we'll get it rolling right now. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully everything's good. Holler if it's not. Give me one moment to get everything up and running. Okay. All right, so like what Bob said, I'm just going to talk Packer offensive line, run and pass fundamentals. The biggest thing, when he asked me what I wanted to talk about, I didn't really know at the time. So I kind of wanted to focus it in and talking to some guys, some other O-line coaches, just what they would want to hear. The main thing I'm going to focus on in the run game is the play side of outside zone and kind of our basic mindset, our combo blocks and things like that, and how I teach all that stuff. And then we'll get into pass pro fundamentals and kind of what I emphasize. We'll start with some drills that I use, and then just kind of how I teach these guys, how their mentality, our approach to how we protect the quarterback, things like that. So one moment. All right, so to get it going with our fundamentals and all that stuff. Again, Bob introduced me. This is my third year as the O-line coach at Green Bay. My 10th season in coaching, kind of bounced around. At the start, went from NAU to San Jose State, and then was fortunate enough to get on, as he said, with John Benton in San Francisco and kind of be around Kyle Shanahan and John Benton, some really good teachers and guys that I learned a lot from. Very fortunate to be able to coach with those guys and learn a bunch. And I'm also very fortunate to coach with Luke Butkus. He's our assistant line coach. He's been around the block a time or two. And as you can see, he's been beaten in the head with an ugly stick right there. But he's a great resource of mine, a guy I really lean on, for all kinds of things. But really good guy, really good coach, and I'm very lucky to have him. The first thing I want to talk about is just, when we talk about our outside zone, and you have to start with the philosophy of your offense. And for us, we want to attack the entire field. What that means, not only when you think of the entire field, it's not just throwing the ball deep, but that is a huge part of it. We want to attack sideline to sideline in everything that we do. So that's kind of where our mindset starts, is make the defense cover the entire field, but also make the defenders defend every gap from where the ball snapped all the way to the sidelines. We want to make sure they have to defend the entire field. Okay, when we start, with formations and things like that, we want to get as much of the same looks as we can, and then base different plays off of that. So give them the same start and then have our differences. We're going to have multiple run schemes from the same looks. We'll have our play action passes from that, off those run schemes. And then we'll have our quarterback keepers and things like that that tie into all that. And that's why, I think that the outside zone is so valuable, is because you can really get really good plays off of it that complement everything in the offense. And we're always hunting for advantageous angles. When you get into the NFL, the one thing you learn is how much of a matchup-driven league it is. So you always need to find the right angles on linebackers, on safeties, on D linemen, whoever you're blocking. Always just make sure the angles that you're asking these guys to block are things that they can get accomplished, and you're always looking for the advantages there. And then the last thing is use eye candy. I know I got some of you right there, but have distractions, have things in your offense, fly sweeps, motions, all that good stuff. Guys crossing the ball, anything that you can get where you can occupy the second level and the third level and avert their eyes. That's a big advantage for you as an offense. Okay, and just for the basics for us, and one thing, that you have to start with anything is just your stance. Okay, and one thing when you're teaching these guys, it's a balanced stance. You got to have balance. You got to be able to cut off from one stance, and that same stance, you got to be able to block on the play side and attack in a different direction. You have to be able to pass set. You have to be able to do everything that you do out of a balanced stance. Okay, and yeah, you can't tip it. And one thing that the higher up you go, the more you realize how much they're studying your stances, how much they're reading what you're doing, whether 2-point, 3-point, he's leaning this way, his feet are a little less staggered. All that stuff is critical in defensive keys. They're trying to get any advantage they can off that. And one guy we have, David Bakhtiari, is extremely conscious of that and just does a great job of being very sound with his stance, trying to always be in the same stance for every play. And then again, practicing all that, your 3-point stances, your 2-point stances, making sure these guys are conscious of getting all their reps from both stances so they can be successful out of everything. Okay, and then the other thing is communication. We've got to be great communicators up front, and we say hear the call, know the call, then execute. All right, so understand what you're doing, know the ins and outs of the play, of the scheme, whatever it is, the different looks you might see, and then be ready to execute. And then our mindset. In everything we do, we want violent get off, whether that's getting across the line of scrimmage in the run game, whether that's in pass protection, we want to explode out of our stance. Everything we're doing, we got that violent mentality of getting off and beating the defense off the line of scrimmage. Okay, and then finish. The one thing I'm very fortunate to coach a really good group of guys that really buy into this, but finishing your defender not only in the run game, whether that's putting them down in the ground or finishing to the ball once that ball carrier blows by you, getting to the ball, but just having that finish mentality, that's something that you just got to keep hammering day in and day out, and then eventually once it all sets in, the guys take off with it. Okay, so I'm going to start now with some outside zone fundamentals, and again, I'm going to focus on the play side aspect of the outside zone with all this. So for us, aiming points are extremely crucial. All right, there's different aiming points for different things, as you know, inside zone, outside zone, under center, gun, all that stuff. But you got to know your aiming point. All right, and what I'm talking about today with the wide zone reaches is just the one-on-one blocks, knowing your aiming point, running through your aiming point. So for us, with these one-on-one blocks on the play side, we're going for that play side number. All right, we're taking our midline, we're getting to the play side number, and we're running through that aiming point. Okay, making sure that first step, we're doing everything we can to gain ground at our target. All right, there's a big habit that we have to always break when we get new guys that haven't been in this system before. It's no false steps. We always got to eliminate those false steps, and we got to make sure every step we take, we're gaining ground at our target. Okay, that's a big thing for us. Okay, and then that second step, you want to drive that backside leg, all right? And you got to press that backside leg right through the crotch of your defender and make sure you're driving that thing and bringing it with you. Getting that second step down before contact obviously is crucial in order to have the power and the explosiveness on the play side against your defender. But making sure everything you're doing, you're gaining ground with that first step, you're driving that second step right through the crotch of your defender and exploding off the ball. And then the last thing in that wide zone reach is your backside hand. As soon as you shoot that thing in the breastplate of your defender, now you're locking that thing. And we're pressing our landmark, we're locking our backside arm and getting ready. Because as we go, if that ball cuts inside of us, that defender is going to come off and try and get off and tackle the runner. So we've got to have that backside arm locked to get ready. Once he directs, now I squeeze that thing, and I can drive into him as he goes. Okay, now we're going to talk about combinations, all right, and our aiming points for combinations, and these change a little bit from just a one-on-one block. So if I'm the lead man in the combo, so a guard tackle combo to the play side, if I'm the tackle here, my aiming point is going to be the play side armpit of the defender. Okay, I'm trying to explode off the ball at whatever angle it is, right through that play side armpit, and cut him off. Okay, try and attack him right there. Okay, if I'm the trail man in the defender, now I'm getting my midline, my screws of my helmet, and I'm aiming for the screws of his helmet. So most of the time, that's pretty flat down the line of scrimmage. Okay, and we say screws to screws aiming point. You're taking your midline and you're aiming for his midline as you go. Okay, and just to give you a different visual, so here is an example. We have a tackle tight end combo on the right here. So if you look at 89, he's the lead man in the combo. So his aiming point is going to be that play side armpit. All right. So he's going on that 9 technique for the play side armpit right there. The tackle, he's going screws to screws. So now he's going right for that midline. And that's his aiming point right there. Okay. Now, the one thing that you have to, when you're drilling and all that stuff, you have to change up and you have to make sure they understand is your aiming point doesn't change, just your angle does. Okay, so right here, instead of a 9 technique, now we have a head up or slightly a 6-eye technique. Okay, so with this tackle tight end combination, now the Y is going through the play side armpit, but this is vertical. Okay, he's got to understand. Now he's shooting basically straight up the field vertically to go through that armpit. Okay, and now the play side tackle, he's going screws to screws, and now we're getting this overtake look right here where we can really cut the defense off. All right, and this is exactly what we're looking for right here, is to get this head up to inside technique where we can get vertical and we can cut the defense off and get the ball outside. Okay, so talking about play side combos and teaching play side combos. First thing, you're talking about the lead man. Obviously, we talked about attacking your aiming point. Okay, and again, that is the play side armpit of the D lineman. All right, that first level defender, making sure you're getting across the line of scrimmage, you're running off the ball violently through your aiming point in order to cut off that defense. All right, so then we got to talk about the reactions, and that's the big thing. Like when you drill these combos, you drill the reactions of the defense, whether it's the D lineman or the linebackers, downhill, flowing over the top, all that stuff. That's something you got to constantly drill and make sure that these guys just develop the reflex of being able to react when all this stuff happens. Okay. So this first one here, if the D lineman, as you're going for your aiming point, if you're the lead man in the combo, if that D lineman jumps out or plays to your outside half, now he's yours. You got him. So make sure you just keep driving through your aiming point as you go. Understand he's playing to you. So now that trail man's going to be gone. So now you got to work that backside arm and lock your catch hand right there, okay, as you go up or as you drive through that D lineman. Okay, the next thing, what we call the D lineman playing a read technique. Okay, and what that means is he's playing, you're the lead guy and you're going for your aiming point. He plays head up or even slightly inside, but he's going with you. All right, so now there's color that trail man's going to see, but he's still driving through it. Make sure you're going through your aiming point. All right, you're coming off the ball, driving through your aiming point, but expect that backside guard now, once he sees that color, to punch it out. All right, there could be a chance where that D lineman's going to get ejected out back to you. So you just got to keep pressing your aiming point and wait for that to happen. All right, and then the next thing that can happen, you're going to the aiming point of the down lineman. That guy slants inside. Now you just stay on your track. All right, don't expand, don't avoid anything like that. You just stay right on your track and go for the play side number of that declared linebacker. All right, or whatever it is, whatever your target was on the second level. Okay, so and then that turns into a normal reach on whoever you're going to. All right, and the last one, just like I showed you with that last picture we had with the vertical line through it, take advantage of those overtake looks. All right. Anytime we can get that in our offense, that's the look we want. The bounce read where we can press that landmark and possibly get the ball outside if we do a great job coming off the ball and capturing the edge. All right. So that's the trail man. The next thing that was the lead man. The next thing we're going to talk about is the trail man in these combos. So here, now the trail man, he's going screws to screws for 3 hard steps. All right, he's coming off the rock and going right at his target for 3 hard steps, reading what's happening. Okay, that's big. Is to get these guys to come off the ball for 3 hard steps, not tentatively, just making sure we're rolling off the rock and going. All right, so the one thing, like a little coaching point, if we get an overtake look where the defender is head up or slightly inside the lead man in the combo, now we want to aim just slightly a little bit further play side. We say 4 inches, but just make them understand that now we're just taking a little bit more because we really want to ensure that we're going to overtake that with the trail man. We want to get the ball outside and take advantage of the leverage, the angle that the D lineman has given us. All right, so now as you're going on your 3 steps, if the D lineman plays out, he plays out to the lead man. Now you're planning off that 3rd step and you're climbing up to that linebacker. Biggest thing, you'll find out as you're going is once they climb, guys just want to turn at a 90-degree angle and go straight up the field. And now the linebacker beats you over the top and you lose your landmark. Okay, just make sure they understand once you plant, you still got to stay at the angle of the back, all right, so that you can get on that linebacker and block him. But again, you're going for that play side number of the linebacker. Once you get on him, you're locking that backside arm. All right, now the one thing that they always have to be ready for is this right here, because if your hands aren't ready for a read technique, you're going to be late on it. So as they go, this is the one where you got to make sure, all right, expect this to happen. That way, if it does, your hands will be ready for it. So here, if they play a read technique, which means they're playing the inside shoulder of the lead man in the combo, now we're getting ready to punch out. Okay, so as you go, you're punching off that 3rd step, exploding through him with those hands and knocking him back outside to whatever gap it is that the lead man is on. Okay, and then after you punch out, now you climb up and you go to that 2nd level target. All right, and then the last one that you drill, and this one's pretty much the easiest. As long as you're going screws to screws, and when that D lineman slants, if you're coming off the rock and going at your aiming point, you'll naturally overtake him. Okay, so this one, guys at first may be hesitant about it, but as long as you're going at your landmark hard and that guy slants, you'll be in a perfect position to overtake him and block him. All right, and then I've talked about this a bunch, but this is the big thing is our get off. We want to make sure when you turn on our tape, and I tell them this all the time, when I put the film on the sideline copy, I want to see us get off, okay? And you can convince, any young man that getting off is pretty cool. So right here, this is the spot, this is the space we want to own, all right? This is kind of the dead man, the no man's land, if you will. But we want to get across the line of scrimmage and get on those D linemen and occupy this territory as fast as we can. Know your landmarks, know your aiming points, get across the line of scrimmage and own that space right there. The second thing, when you're doing the outside zone, you got to make sure that halfback is pressing his landmarks. Okay, so here, when you look at a quarterback halfback exchange, all right, you want to see that quarterback reaching out and struggling because that halfback's coming off the ball. All right, that's kind of our mentality. It's just we're pressing, we're coming off the rock. We want to see that exchange where the quarterback's really reaching out there. That's the mentality we want with our back. And then the last thing, everyone's important, whether it's receivers blocking on the edge, obviously everyone in the blocking front, super crucial. Right here, if we had a run to the left, an outside zone to the left, everyone has a job. Okay, everyone has a blocking assignment, and that means the quarterback. So right here, after he hands that thing off, we got to make sure everyone's involved and he's carrying out his good keeper fake, because that's how you can tie the whole offense together and hold that backside guy and make him hesitate. Does the quarterback have the ball, or should I go chase the run? And that'll buy you some time, and I'll show you, how that can open up holes on the backside. All right. So now I'm going to go. Give me a sec. Get some run clips here. All right, good. So here with this film, again, just talking about how we can create advantageous angles and what we're looking for. Anytime we're game planning, we wanna find leverage. How are we going to be able to get the ball outside, all right, and create advantageous angles on the linebackers and D linemen? So here we have a bounce read, we have a head up technique. Tight end is going through the play side armpit of his defender. The tackle's going to overtake, and they are working to this target inside. We think that is a great angle for us. We love that because the back's going to press the shit out of his landmark. He's going to run off the ball, and we're going to get across the line of scrimmage. And again, on the backside with our backside combo, that is a great angle right there on the backside linebacker. So anytime we can get something like that, this is exactly what we're hunting. All right. We always preach on the front side. Backs, you're going to be one-on-one with the DB. So right here, you can see back runs over the safety, playing cover 2. It's a good deal. Getting him one-on-one right there. Nice hustle by our guard, getting on the ball. Always crucial to run to the ball, as you all know. Good look right there, cutting the defense off, making them cover the entire field. That's what we're looking for right there. Okay, the next thing is just getting these guys in their mindset when you're doing the outside zone to run to your aiming point. Everyone's coming off the ball. So right here, we're running an outside zone to the open, with the tight end cross flowing here. So the tight end's going across, all right, and we're working out to this linebacker all the way out here. The guard's blocking the D end all the way out there. The center's going to have to go block a 2-eye. Not great angles, but if we all have that mindset of getting off the ball, running to our landmarks, and attacking our aiming points, we still have a good chance. Okay, so this is a really good job by the guys on the front side, just attacking their landmarks and running off the ball. Okay, and then always looking to use cross actions, anything like that. So you can see here the tight end crossing to the backside C gap. Any way we can manipulate the second level, slow them down, make them think we're running a keeper. Nice quarterback, does a great job carrying out the fake here. This is just good ball right there. And then you have one of the best receivers in the NFL blocking that safety right there. That's just good team football and good outside zone ball right there. And again, the same deal like I just talked about. Eye candy, using similar formations, with different plays. Right here, again, anytime we can get cross action, you can see the Y here, crossing the formation, cutting the backside C gap, slowing down those DNs, setting up play passes, setting up keepers, all that stuff. Anytime we can get that, that's exactly what we want. But if you know you can manipulate the second level with these cross actions, slow them down, find the open gap, that's what we're looking for right there. And this, I really like this clip right here, just again to talk about the mindset of everything, and I'll show the sideline view of this. We got an outside zone with the receiver sliding, all right, and again you can see this D end. Everyone's carrying out their fakes, receiver sliding, throwing up some eye candy for him to take in, but he doesn't know if it's a keeper or a run, and you can see the ball ends up going all the way back to that backside C gap right there for a good gain. Okay, and that's the thing. You play that team football where everyone's doing their job, and they all end up helping out and getting productive plays. But a really good job here by the back, pressing his landmark. Play side tackle gets stuck. Really good job running to the heels of the O-line, putting his foot in the ground and finding that open seam right there on the backside. Okay, now just getting into some drills, and there isn't a whole lot of crazy stuff that we do as far as different drills. We're really into just working the functional movements that we're going to see or that we're going to perform right here. But we do this probably every other day. Just a one-on-one catch and reach drill. All right, but this is a good rep here. We talk about what we're looking for. Okay, if we're one-on-one on these blocks, we're going. That's our aiming point. The screws of our helmet to the play side number. Okay, starts with the first step, making sure we're gaining ground with that first step. We're bringing the second step with us, getting it down, driving it through the crotch of the defender, and then shooting that backside arm and locking it for the retrace. You can see here, as you go, this is a big thing to train the guys, especially on defense, is once you're driving him out, have the guy, after about 3 or 4 steps, work back inside to simulate, a DN trying to come off the block, all right? And you got to make sure you're working your backside arm and locking it down, okay? That's one thing guys holding the bags have to learn. And the big thing here, to teach the tackles, people always ask, like, okay, you got your landmarks, you got your aiming points, you got all that stuff. How do you teach the tackles how to one-on-one block on the play side of your outside zones? The biggest thing I like to think about as you go, tackles, as you're driving him out, make sure if he's, playing outside of you, make sure you're doing whatever you can to keep your hips inside his hips, okay? Because as soon as your hips swing around, now you're going to give him an opportunity to jump up the field or jump inside to make the play. So just have those guys be very conscious as you're going, just to keeping their hips inside the defender's hips at tackle, okay? Guard's a little bit different with how we teach it. So here you can see a guard. This is our left guard blocking on an outside shade. Okay, here, biggest thing here is just watch his second step, all right? He kind of drags it with him instead of bringing it fast and going, okay? And you can see how he's kind of slow here. Good aiming point, but just makes contact right before that second step gets down. We want to make sure we're bringing that second step fast and we're driving through our landmarks, okay? So here's a good look on this one of just working the different reactions of the D-line. Okay, you'll have guys play here. We'll have the D lineman just play straight. Now we'll have them play out, okay, just to simulate that. So here, as this guard's going for his landmark, if the D lineman jumps outside, you just stay on your angle. The initial angle that you took, that's the right angle, okay? That's in line with the running back's track. Okay, so if that guy jumps outside, you don't need to widen anymore. So however you hit him, right here, guy plays out, you hit him, now you're hitting that inside number, you're all right. Just keep driving him, take him on that angle, and drive his ass out of there. Okay, and then the next thing that we drill is the inside move. Just the quick stick inside. Good job by this guard. Again, going for his landmark, getting his second step in the ground, shooting that backside hand. The guy plays in, you naturally wheel on him, and that ball should be outside. That's where we have that trust with the back, where they're pressing their landmarks. That guy jumps inside, the back's going to make us right by staying outside. So those are the movements you just got to keep drilling with those play side reaches. So here, just a couple clips of just guys reaching on the play side. So you can watch the left guard here, 62. Good job by him bringing that second step through the crotch of the defender. Ends up getting more. The defender ends up playing through his inside half, almost a read technique right here. But a good job by him getting on his landmark, pressing through his aiming point, all right, and cutting that 3 technique out of his gap. Okay, really good look right here. Talking about tackles, we'll look at the left tackle right here, number 69, blocking on the play side of a catch hand reach. Okay, good feet right here, getting that second step down, driving through his outside number, and keeping his hips inside that DN. Okay, that's not an easy thing to do, but that's a good job by David, driving him out and creating some space right there. If the back needed to hit that B gap, he would have had a chance. All right, good clip here. Again, just talking about, we got an outside zone to the right where the tight end and the tackle are going to have to go to guys that are pretty far outside of their landmark, or out of their frame. So here, they're coming off the ball. They're doing a good job running through their aiming points and pressing. All right, so that's a good job by that right tackle right there, and then working that catch hand, locking it in on the backside for the retrace. Okay, and the guard here, here's kind of a look of kind of what you want to avoid. It ends up working out here, but you can just see how the guard's kind of stepping around the block instead of running through his aiming point right here. He gets to his landmark, he cuts the 3 technique out of his gap, but you just always have to be aware of making sure you're coming off the ball and running through that landmark and not stepping around it, at more of a circle angle right here. Okay, and then just always working that mindset. Really good job here by the right guard. He's one of the nastier dudes I've coached. Just playing and finishing your guy, taking pride and dumping dudes. This is a good job again, getting that second step down, pressing through his landmark, locking that guy down and rolling over him. That's it's always fun when they can do that. Okay, and again, when you drill, a lot of times you only drill D linemen as 3 techniques where they're arms covering that guard, but just make sure as you go, you widen those guys out. There's a lot of times where these guys need to understand, like, I'm running to my landmark. I got to come off the ball, whether he's a 4-eye or a wide ass 3 technique like this guy is here. This is a really good job by the guard, just going, running off the ball, and then pressing. Just keep pressing through his landmark and winning the block. So that's just a good mindset. You just got to keep showing these guys that to make them understand, how hard you have to come off the ball and how important landmarks are. Okay, here's a good look on the left side here. We got the tackle and the guard. Okay, playing out. Okay, they're bringing a pressure off the backside here, but playing out with those cats looping out right there on the front side. But they don't get to the play side number, and that's okay. Those guys are running out. Now you make contact, and now you just drive them out. If your aiming point was correct, however you hit them, just keep on driving them. Make sure you're working that catch hand and driving them off the ball. Okay, and then another thing, you just got to keep harping on these guys is once we're watching the right guard here. Once you come off the ball, once you're running to your aiming point, this is a good job by Billy getting there on the right side with number 77. But keep pressing through it, keep driving through it, because there's a lot of times, it may take a little bit of time. But you just got to maintain the win. We always just say, make sure once you win, you keep your win, and you keep driving through your aiming point. You just got to keep running your feet, driving that backside knee. That's why it's so crucial, and keeping that pressure on the defender to win. Okay, and then the last part, this happens quite a bit, with us, is just talking about as we're blocking these plays, we're working up here on our play side combo. We're shooting through on the backside. We're one-on-one with the guard and the 3 technique. All right, so we have to be able to react to anything that happens right here. So the three technique makes that inside move. This is a really good job by the left guard, getting his second step in the ground, shooting that backside hand in his chest and wheeling on him and cutting him out there. Okay, because again, the back should make us right. We can be confident that we're going to be able to overtake that and get around the edge there. So again, that's why you want to work all those different movements of the guy playing through you, the guy jumping inside, the guy playing outside. Is just making sure guys are running through their aiming points, getting that second step down fast, and then reacting accordingly. Okay, and probably one of the more underrated things that doesn't get talked about much in running in the outside zone is just having the ability of the center to reach shades, or in case of Corey, he could reach two eyes. But the center here, he's probably one of the better guys I've ever seen reach nose tackles. Okay, so here there's kind of two different ways that I would talk to Corey about. Okay, this is how I think you should approach a nose guard. And if you can, and here's a clip of, if you can reach the guy fast and win, that's great. That's awesome. Go win that block fast. So you can see Corey just throw his hat, get across and cut that nose out of that gap right there. But once he wins that block, now here's a really good illustration of him just pressing and driving through the play side number of that nose guard and cutting him out of that gap. It's a pretty cool clip of just a guy winning the block. And once you win, now you want to drive north and create that vertical seam in the defense. Okay, here's another look. Same deal. We're running an outside zone to the left. All right. It's a really good job here shooting his, and obviously centers that snap with their right hand, they love reaching to the left more than to the right because they can use their offhand and get on that guy quick. You can see here, he jumps him, he grabs him, he torques him inside, and now he presses through that play side number and cuts that nose guard out of that gap. So that's the quick reach and press that we're talking about right there. And then the next one is just a normal drive block, okay? You don't know how the guy's going to play, or you don't think you'll be able to jump him fast. Here's a really good look at now. You're just driving him, going right through that play side number, okay? And you're getting vertical push off the ball. Okay, so good look right there. Again, shooting that backside hand in, pressing through that play side number, and now he knocks the nose 5 yards back. They start on the right hash. They go damn near to the numbers 5 yards off the ball. Okay, if you can do that, you're going to have a productive play. And that's just one thing you just got to keep working with the center, just reaching, and coming off the rock. Okay, now getting into the combos, the combination portion of this. So we talked about the one-on-one blocks. Now we'll talk about the combo blocks here. So we got an outside shade on a combo. They're running a combo to the right here. Just making sure, again, we drill the reactions. And that's the biggest thing, is making sure, number one, we're getting off through our landmark at the most vertical angle possible. All right? Don't take any false steps or anything like that. We're coming off the ball and we're running through our landmark, being productive with all that. So here's a good look at a guy. The D lineman plays out. Good look by number 70 here, running off the ball, driving that second step and going right through his landmark. Okay, so the lead man is right there, and the trail man now is taking 3 steps at the screws of the down guy. Okay, so he's taking his 3 steps, the down D lineman plays out, and now he plants off that step and climbs. And again, just the biggest thing here, they need to understand that linebacker is going to be flowing fast. So you got to make sure you're not going 90 degrees up the field. You're taking a good angle to stay on the track of the back and to win on that linebacker. Okay, just another look at it from a center guard perspective. Again, here, just making sure now, a lot of times guys will shortchange this, but just making sure we're trying to get to that landmark. The screws of our helmet need to get outside to that armpit of that 3 technique. He ends up correcting himself at the end, but we want to be there initially, just rolling. It's good reaction by the center right there. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is the punch out. Okay, so here, this is the read technique that we're talking about. So he goes to reach him. He's nice and vertical with his aiming point. He plays the inside shoulder of the lead man. Okay, so as you're going on your 3rd step, you see that color of that guy hanging right there. All right, now we want to punch him out and then climb. Okay, and this is the one where the guards or whoever it is, the inside guy, has got to be ready for this. Okay, because you will be late with your hands if you aren't. So it's a good job here by 77, punching him out, climbing up, and winning on that play side backer. And then the next thing you want to drill is the slant. Okay, and this one's not too difficult as long as everyone's coming off the ball and everyone's taking proper aiming points. But the biggest thing here is he's going vertical through his landmark. That guy slants. Just stay vertical, all right? And this guy's coming off the ball, screws to screws, and overtaking it and winning on that down lineman. Okay? Look at a guard and center right here. 3 technique plays in. Just make sure we're doing whatever we can and being as vertical as possible to get a piece of that 3 on our way up and going to win on that linebacker. All right, and then the next thing, you work on these overtakes. So anytime we can get head up to inside and we get this overtake technique, tackles, it happens mostly with tackles versus 4 eyes or 4 techniques and odd fronts, or you can get it with two eyes on guards and centers. That's probably where it happens the most when you're just drilling O-line other than tackles and tight ends. But again, nice and vertical. Always want to be gaining ground with that first step. So you can see here, does a pretty good job gaining ground with that first step, driving through that play side armpit. And now the trail guy, understanding that he's going slightly more than screws to screws, a little bit more to the play side in order to reach this guy and overtake that down D lineman. Okay, and then obviously working the overtake look, and then he jumps out. So now we're planting off that 3rd step and climbing. And then this is one, again, we're talking about guards and centers, okay? So let's pretend this is a center and this is a guard. We got a 2-eye, and we got this backer play side, all right? We're going to go up and down, take a quick check step, slightly lateral with that outside foot. The 2nd step and hand are going to strike wherever that play side armpit is, okay? So we're going up and down, slightly play side with that 2nd step, or that 1st step. The 2nd step's going to go at whatever direction that play side armpit, however tight or loose that guy is. That's what we want to do here. So this is a good look here by 65, just shooting that hand and 2nd step up right through the armpit of the down guy. And now 77 is in a good spot to overtake. Okay, depending on how hard charging these guys are, you may need to use a shoulder and smoke them with your shoulder and hand in order to get off right there. And then the angle of what you depart all depends on where this guy is. Okay, so if he's damn near stacked over that 2-eye, you can be a little bit more vertical. If he's out in the B gap or C gap or whatever it is, if he's out here, after you hit, this stays the same. Check step and hit. But now you just have to take a flatter angle, whatever angle that is, to go get on that guy. So that's just something you have to drill with that. Okay, so just talking about these double teams, we saw this clip of the center reaching, but now we're going to talk about this double. And again, same deal here. We're going right through here. Coming off the ball, running on outside zone to the left. We're going 3 hard steps at the screws of the down guy. And here's a look at him playing out. The D lineman playing out. So he plants off that 3rd step, he climbs. And right there, you just got to keep running through that play side number of the backer. that backer does a great job of trying to shed him and win that block. You can see right there. Back wants to stay on his track. We got to get that hat to the play side number and drive through it. Good job here by the tackle. Once that DN plays out right here, he's yours. Now you take him, you get him, you stretch him, and you work that backside hand and lock it in there. All right, now here's a look versus we're running an outside zone now to the right versus a 4-eye. They're working a combo here to that inside backer right there. Okay, this is an overtake look for us, so we just want to be vertical, nice and vertical with that lead man right through the armpit. Here now we can go a little bit wider because we're trying to get that overtake look at the screws of that DN. But good reaction here by the guard. The 4-eye jumps outside. The guard plants off that third step and then strikes with violence on that second level target. Right through that play side number. That's good stuff right there. Okay, backs, obviously, as you're running, if you need to bow out, it's probably not good. We want to plant our foot in the ground and get north and get some yards. Okay, and then we got the gun stuff, and that's predominant, in every run scheme that probably most of you have. Is the gun runs and just practicing all that. So depending on your landmark of your back, however you change it, you may have to change the landmarks when you're in offset gun. Okay, so just understand it's not the same from under center as it is for offset gun, depending on the landmarks of your backs. So right here, really good job by the center. The 3 technique plays out right here. So we're talking a play side combo between the guard and the center. The 3 technique plays out. Center plants off that third step. A good job by him staying on that angle and going and getting on that play side linebacker. Good finish by all these guys up front. Okay, let's look at a couple examples of the punch out. So here, we got the inside overtake look. We got the backer out in the C gap. All right. And if that backer plays out with this 4-eye, this is a good reaction by Billy. He's playing out. We're getting color there by that DN. Really good job by Billy, snapping that dude out and then climbing up to the linebacker there. Just creating movement. Again, you want to teach these backs to trust their landmarks. This has been a really good deal to run right off that play side combo. As long as he could. But that's a really good job just creating space with that punch out. Okay, here's a good look at a punch out single now. We got the center and the guard comboing up here to number 30. Just a good reaction here by Corey. And again, you always have to have your hands ready anytime you're running these combos for the punch out. So here you can see that 3 technique plays right through the midline of the guard. Great job by the center, snapping him out, and then getting vertical and climbing up on that safety. Okay, and then again, another look at a punch out double. So we have the left tackle and left tackle and the left guard right here. But now our target stays inside. So this is a good job by 74, snapping it out and then climbing up and getting on that linebacker. Good reaction right there. Love the hands, love the violence. You can see that guy goes flying. That's the mindset we have to have. Okay, here's a couple good clips just to talk about. So here, we're running an outside zone to the left. We got the left tackle and left guard comboing through this D end to that linebacker right there. Okay, and again, we want to be as vertical as possible. And then once we make contact right there, if our target's inside, that's perfect. That's the overtake look we're looking for right there. All right, so that 4-eye plays slightly inside to the guard. Right here, you can see the guard kind of hesitate. He doesn't really bring that second step. He's not going to overtake. He doesn't take a good angle right there. So initially, he's behind the block. Okay, he's not on that same angle that the back is. Good job by him winning it eventually, but we want to make sure we overtake once we get this leverage on that D line. We got to be ready and overtake. And here's a good look of just why it's so important to keep our shoulders as square as possible to the line of scrimmage. You can see here, the left tackle punches that 4-eye, but now his shoulders get turned. Okay, and that when you're running outside zones, especially if you're tossing them, those backers are going to be flowing fast. Okay, so we just got to understand we can't put ourselves in those positions and expect to win. However, this is a really good job by the left tackle finishing the block. Okay, he doesn't win on the linebacker, but that's okay. You drive him out of there and you create a hole. So you can see it runs right off that seam where it should have, but ended up a little bit different. Here's another good clip. Essentially the same block. Okay, again, we're running an outside zone to the left. We got a 4-eye, but now that backer that we're working to is outside. Okay, so here we want to hit that play side aiming point, which is the play side armpit with the left tackle. But now our angle of departure is going to be different, okay, because that target is outside now. All right, so this is a really good strike by the left tackle. I love this strike. Does a really good job hitting off his second step. Again, just got to make sure you take that good angle to go win, get your hat play side on that linebacker. Love the violence, though, initially right there. Better job by the guard. Again, he's still not bringing his backside foot, but better by him at least getting to that overtake look. All right, and then the last portion of the doubles is just working the slant. All right, and this is, should be easy as long as everyone's coming off the ball, working at their aiming point. So here you can see on the right side that DN slants, guard easily overtakes it, tackle stays on his angle and goes and wins on the linebacker. Okay, and then the one block, that I love to talk about. We're fortunate we got a great tight end, number 89, Mercedes Lewis, one of the best in the league that I've seen in these combos. But just talking about what an advantage the tackle tight end combo is when you can get people head up or even 9 wherever they line up. As long as your guys understand what's going on and everyone's on with the same mindset, you can really do awesome things in outside zone. So here's a great job of the tight end just coming off the rock, running through that aiming point, and the tackle now as you go. Guards, not a lot of times where we're worried about run throughs in this offense, but tackles, you have to be aware when you're running these combos of where that Sam backer is. Okay, so here's a good job of David. He's going at his landmark, but now he's keeping an eye on what that Sam's doing, because if he runs underneath, he needs to snap off. But we have trust with the back as he's pressing. He's going to make us right as long as he can. So this is good reaction here. David knows the Sam jumps backside, so he stays front side. But that's a really good illustration of a bounce read of us getting outside of the defense right there. And again, forcing them to cover the entire field, sideline to sideline. All right. So here's a look at 1 versus 9 technique, and now we got the backer we're working to way inside here. So again, Brian's going just to check the tight end there, but now he's planning off that third step and going and climbing on that linebacker, running through it. Okay, and then again, just always have to have the tackles alert, especially when this guy's right here in this C gap or inside. You cannot just go in there and bury your head. Okay, the tight end sees it happening. His head's out of the block, but that Sam runs underneath. We got to make sure our eyes are up and we're paying attention to where that target is, because we got to snap off and take that guy and go and get him. Look, he gives him a hit in the back. Hey, dude, let's go. What are you doing? But one thing, that you can implement in your run game is tosses. So we saw that last one where we handed it off, and that allowed the backer to run through. If that's happening a lot, you're getting those run throughs. You can toss them, all right, and that'll change the reaction of the linebackers. Okay, quarterback pivot or reverses out, back runs that toss course. Now you can see those backers, if they run through, they're screwed. They won't be able to get there because the back will take it outside. Okay, so if you're worried about run throughs or anything like that, tossing it's a great way to prevent that guy from running through. Okay, and the last thing in the run game, I just want to talk about real fast. I won't get into much backside stuff, but right here, just talking about our backhand stabs. Okay, so if you're the lead man in a backside combo, for example, a guard in a guard tackle combo on the backside, what we're always trying to do is shoot a backhand. So we're taking our backside hand and we're throwing it right through the armpit, the play side armpit of the guy covering us on the backside. So we want to do that as fast as we can. Get that first step in the ground, shoot that hand right through that play side armpit, and turn the shoulders of that down lineman so the backside guy can overtake him. So you turn those shoulders, get him turned, and the guy, the backside guy should easily overtake. The one thing, as you're teaching this, love how fast and violent this hand gets up. And the biggest thing is you want get in front of the camera, you want your hand as you strike, you want your fingers up. Okay, if your fingers are up, that's where you're most powerful and that's where you're most accurate. If your hand turns out, or either way, like this or like this, however, guys will do this. Now you'll most of the time you'll aim high and you'll miss the guy. So just make sure our palms and fingers our palms flat and our fingers are up as we shoot that backhand stab. But you can see here with Billy, he steps backwards with that first step. Everything we do, again, we want to get across the line of scrimmage. So we want to make sure we're stepping forward with that first step. So here, not great with that first step because he's not gaining ground. If you look at 65 right here, this is a little bit better. He's not losing as much ground, or he's not losing ground. But right here, he's gaining a little bit of ground. And again, wanting to clear that first level up to the second level. And this is better here by 71. Getting up, getting across the line of scrimmage as fast as possible, and turning that down D lineman's shoulders. This is a drill we do probably twice a week of just working on our backhands right there. Okay, so talking about backhands, here's a good illustration watching the right guard and right tackle on their backhands right here. And again, that's exactly what you want to do. One thing I don't like is the guards looking at his target right here. I don't want him looking back at that 3 technique. I want his eyes on that linebacker. But this is a good illustration of landing the backhand, turning the shoulders of the 3 technique, and now that tackle should be in a good position to go overtake him and cut that 3 out of that B gap. Okay, another good clip here. That D lineman's hugging really tight on that 3 technique, but a good job by the guard, shooting that backhand fast, turning the shoulders of the D lineman. Again, tackle. Just make sure we're driving through it and winning on that play side number. Last one here, we got the guard and the tackle comboing up. Again, really good job by the guard, shooting the backhand, getting up on that play, our backside linebacker. Good cut by the back right off that combo. All right, hold on one second. Okay, now we're gonna change gears. We'll go to some pass pro stuff. I don't know how much time I have left. I have no idea. So I'm just gonna keep rolling. Okay, so just switching gears to the pass pro portion of this. The first thing that we talk about is winning the set, beating your D lineman to the rush line. Okay, and one thing, I'm sure all of you have been in this position where you're sitting on the sidelines talking to your guys during the game, and all of a sudden the offensive coordinator or the head coach comes over and is like, "Hey, the ref's warning us that the tackles are too early, or the guard or somebody's too early." And you got to be like, "Okay, coach, yep, we'll take care of it." I love that. I want that. I want us to be right on the edge when we're pass setting of winning the set. Like I want it to almost be a penalty every single time because we're getting off so fast and coming off the ball in our pass set. So inside of me, I think that's a good thing, but I don't express that at the moment to the head coach or whoever's yelling at me. So here, just talking about getting to the rush line. So this illustration, we got the quarterback dropping back to his launch point, whatever that may be, and then the rush line of the D lineman. Okay, so how are we going to get there? Okay, we have different tools to get there. You can see the right tackle here. He's going straight back, and obviously we call that a vertical set. And so the wider the guy is, you kind of have to judge where he's at. The wider the guy is, and the deeper the drop of the quarterback. Now that's where you're going to need to use these vertical sets to get on that rush line. But again, you got to get off the ball. You got to get onto that rush line and beat him to his spot. The left tackle over here, you can see that we're doing an angle set. Okay, we call that an angle set. It's essentially a 45-degree set, getting on that rush line and beating him to his spot. Talking to our D-line coach and other D-line coaches, the one thing that they love is when they know how the tackle or anyone is going to set. Okay, if they can get a beat on, all right, this guy sets like this, I can plan off my third step, I can plan off my fifth step, put a move on, whatever it is. If they can get comfortable, they're going to be successful eventually. Okay, so what we always want to do is be proactive in our sets. All right, number one, that starts with our hands. Using our hands as weapons. We got to be violent with our hands. We want to be aggressive. We want to punch these guys. And get after them and make them conscious, because there's nothing, they shake, you punch them in the chest, you're violent with your hands, they're going to be worried about that. Okay, and then having set variations. All right, and again, like I said, if they know exactly where you're going to be, or they know exactly how you set every time on 3rd and 5, whatever, he's always doing this, you have to mix it up in order to be successful. So you have to have different tools in your toolbox. So we call an up kick. That's just setting on the line of scrimmage as much as possible. We want to play on the line of scrimmage with the up kicks and really just get after the D line and take it to them. And again, we talked about angle sets, setting at the 45-degree angle, and then we have our vertical sets. So just making sure that we're using all of these sets in various different situations, not always, not always on 1st and 10. We're not always vertical setting, or we're not always up kicking. Whatever it is, we're using these different sets in order to just keep the D linemen on their toes. Okay, the next thing is just harping on your guys about base. All right, making sure your feet are working in pairs, and you're always keeping your feet generally under your armpits or under your shoulders. Okay, different, like if you watch David Bakhtiari's base compared to our left guards, or Billy Turner, our right tackle, whoever it is. Some bases may vary, but just making sure their base is consistent and their feet are traveling in pairs and working together, so we're not getting overextended or too narrow. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you're talking, you want to be able to get to a spot where you can cover the defender wherever he is in a balanced position. All right. Got to have balance, got to have a good base for that, and you got to make sure your feet are working together. Okay, and then once you get there, you have to have the ability to anchor. Okay, you have to have the ability to drop your hips underneath the D lineman's hips. Okay, that's the big thing there, is your ability to drop it and anchor and get under their bull rush. Okay, and then you also have to have the ability to flatten out the rush. Okay, so whatever edge they work, you need to be able to bring your hips in front of that to flatten them out and stymie their rush. Okay, and then the biggest, as you know, pocket mechanics are freaking huge. All right, so just understanding where the quarterback is going to be in his drop. Okay, that is crucial, obviously, in understanding what kind of set I can take, and obviously changing up your sets. You just need to know where he's going to be. Okay, so for us, we're always, again, centers and guards, you guys are responsible for the depth of the pocket. Be firm, play on the line of scrimmage as much as you can, in order just to keep the integrity of the pocket, the inside nice and firm. And then obviously tackles, you guys are responsible for the width. Okay, whether that's vertical setting, you got to be able to anchor, and stop that bull rush if he's trying to collapse the pocket. Love angle sets on the edge, going and getting out on guys just in order to keep the width of the pocket, so it's nice and clean. Okay, and then slide mechanics. Huge thing that we practice all the time is just making sure we're protecting the integrity of the slide inside out. Okay, if I'm a guard and I have a 2-eye or a shade, I'm helping the center with my eyes and my gap. But right here, just being firm, I'm not vacating space and avoiding D linemen. I'm always doing a good job protecting inside out on that. So that's huge. That's huge. And then obviously you got to be great at slides. That's your advantage in a protection where you can get 3-on-2 in that. So just making sure that pocket is nice and firm in that spot, because there may be leakage on the man side and the quarterback needs that insurance to step up or whatever it is. We have to be good with our pocket mechanics. And then the mindset, we talk about having that right mindset. There is no time limit with pass protection. There's no, for us, sometimes the quarterback hangs on to the ball for a while, but that quarterback can make some really cool plays, which is awesome. So it's just all about making sure you don't have a time limit in your brain as you go. Okay.
Coach, you got about 7 minutes left until we go Q&A.
Awesome. All right, so we'll go fast. All right, so here are just a couple of drills that I really like. As we go, it seems like we get less and less practice time and less time in pads and all that stuff. So we just got to be really smart with our drills. But here's a good one. You look at just being active with our hands, training punching, training our feet working in pairs, just any 2-punch drill or 3-punch drill where we're changing directions and we're being violent with our hands. One thing I love about 65 right here is just how his feet work in pairs, all right? If he's moving his inside foot, he's bringing his outside foot with him and vice versa. He's always got his feet under him as he's punching. So you can see right here, this next guy, he's got his foot in the air on contact, not what we're looking for, all right? You want to bring that backside foot with you, but you can't have your feet in the air, as you all know, in protection, especially when you're punching. Okay, another look. Now we're going outside in. But another look at the guard. Just keeping his feet in the ground, working those hands, working that punch. And then another look at a guy not doing it the right way, not bringing his backside foot with him. Base is getting too wide. You want to make sure we're not getting too wide with our base. Here's a good drill that we do, especially in OTAs, but a good drill you can do in the off season with the guys once you teach them. But again, just teaching them to bring their feet with them, good use of their hands, and you can work the different patterns. We call this the 3-punch med ball drill. So here we're starting in, get my deal. We're starting in, and then we're going out with 2 punches. And these are 12-pound med balls. So they're not too heavy where they're going to hurt their wrists, and they're not too light where it's just going to eject right back into your face. I know from experience. But good job here by 71. Again, getting his feet in the ground. You can see 1, 2, get those feet in the ground on that inside. Boom, boom. Everything's working in pairs. It's a good look right there. Okay, now once you get the pads on, similar drill, the 3-punch drill, but now I like to add the element of a transition. Okay, and when I talk about transition, I'm talking about, so I think this is, let me just see really fast. He goes in, so he's starting in, and he's going out, out. So the transition is once he gets to this last guy, the guy's either going to work through his outside shoulder, he's going to bull rush him, or he's going to work through his inside shoulder. Okay. So that's the transition element to it. And what I really like here, obviously, great job bringing his feet with him. But you can see right there on the transition, when that guy works the outside edge, we're doing everything we can to keep our hips as square as possible to the line of scrimmage. And we're not getting this ankle outside of that ankle or inside of that ankle and bailing. All right. We want to keep the pocket firm. We want to keep the width of the pocket. So that's stepping to contact, punching, and keeping those hips square as he works up the field. So here's another look. We're going out, in, out, and the guy works the inside edge now. It's a good job striking with violence, knocking the wind out of the guy's chest. Okay. For up kicks, so basically playing on the line of scrimmage with our up kicks. Tackles, it's a little bit different than guards, but you just have to have that mindset. Tackles, if the guy's loose off you, you can take a target basically to his inside tip right there of the shoulder pad, and make him either go up the field, go through you, or try and go inside. But don't overset. Just make sure they're taking that inside target so they do not overset, because that's the one way that you can really screw yourself on an up kick. But really nice job here of being balanced, flattening out that inside half. And as he goes in, you activate your inside hip and flatten him out with your hands. Okay, at guard, biggest thing on these up kicks is when you set on the line of scrimmage, you're getting after the D-line, you're eating up that space. So you got to make sure as you set, you're faster with your hands, okay? So just make sure you're bringing your hands nice and fast right there. And again, good job by 74 flattening out that inside rush, being active with that inside half with his hip and his hands. And here's another drill, that we do of just being conscious of guys working the shoulder. So we're flattening them out and just being conscious of keeping those hips active and keeping our hips as square as we can to the line of scrimmage. Again, here's the live, or not live element, but the more functional element, I should say. But again, good job by Billy staying under himself. Nice job here by Lane transitioning to the inside and then flattening that inside rush out and being active with his hands. Okay, one thing we rep all the time with tackles is just sets and transitions. We'll do this pretty much every day of just giving them a wide shade to set on. And now that D lineman's coming off the ball and he's working the outside edge, he's working the bull, or he's working the inside edge. And right here, really good job here by 69, transitioning, stepping at the defender, not bailing his outside kick foot, stepping at him and striking and keeping the width of the pocket. That's huge for tackles, and that's something that has to get repped all the time in order for them to understand how to maintain the width of the pocket. Okay, good job here, blocking the inside rush on the transition, and then a really good job here by 71 versus a bull of, again, stepping to contact, not bailing his kick foot. So on contact, he does not drop that kick foot. He steps it, gets that foot in the ground, and doesn't swing it backwards initially, which again buys you an extra yard or so in the launch point, which is obviously crucial. All right, and then this last part right here with these drills, I like this. I used to go watch Frank Pollock when he was with the Cowboys, and I was at San Jose State. I'd go down there and watch him practice, and I saw him doing stuff with bungees, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then once I started messing around with it, I was like, damn, you can use this in a lot of different ways. But this is just a good drill I like to do for guys to set and learn to be balanced and learn to have basically their weight transferred in their stance so to explode out. And you can change the angles of the bungees however you want. But just a good look. We just do quick sets where we do 3 kicks, and just getting guys conscious of driving off that post foot and just being balanced, staying inside out, having the right body lean, and just essentially keeping your weight over your insteps, over your crotch right there, and not leaning one way or the other. Here's just working up kicks with that. You can work your multiple different sets, whatever it is, right there, and just changing the angles. Okay, and the one thing, I got a couple clips here on the game film of just talking about winning the set, and this is what I love seeing. Like in the run game, watching the O-line get across the line of scrimmage onto their landmarks. Here, I just love watching these tackles right here. They're beating the center on the snap and beating the D lineman off the ball. That is good stuff. Just pushing it to the limit right there. Just gives you such a good advantage as a pass setter. Okay, here's another clip. Just compare and contrast. You can look at the left tackle right here and the left guard. Just why base is so important. Okay, so here, left tackle going at the D end, and they're both up kicking right here. So setting on the line of scrimmage. You can see the left tackle brings his post foot with him, his right foot with him, and he's got a mirrored base, and he's good. And now you can see the left guard here just not bring that post foot with him, right? And now the guy works an edge, and you can't move your feet to cover him up and get your hips in front of him. So again, just a really, really interesting illustration of a guy playing with good base and what happens, and then a guy playing with a poor base and what happens right there. I think that's all. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, Coach, we're going to transition to the questions and answers now.
All right, cool.
I'm just going to open up the mic as guys that had questions. They're still in the meeting. I'm just going to pull and open their mic so they can ask it to you live. So the first one, we're going to start off with Daniel Hill. There you go, Daniel. You just got to unmute your mic. Go ahead.
I heard something.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go with the next guy. Chris Vaughn. Let's see if he's still on here. Okay, I'll just read it. I'll read the first two for you, Coach, just so we can get those answered.
Cool.
Daniel Hillhead, do you have the play side wide receiver read who he's blocking? How do you teach that?
Yeah, so essentially, depending on the scheme, it depends on what the play side wide receiver is doing. So if we're just running to a tight end surface or an open side, we have the play side wide receiver push crack. And what that means is he is pushing on the corner to the outside number of the corner and then reading the safety what he does. If it's cover 2, he'll stay on the corner, the cloud corner. If it's quarters or, cover 3 where that guy rolls down and plays the force, now he's cracking and going to block that safety. So again, he's tied into the back. Everyone is all tied in, and his aiming point is the play side number of that DB, whichever one that he's blocking.
Okay, the second one came from Chris Vaughn. It says, do you tell the O-line anything different with the stretch ball handling versus toss ball handling that we saw?
The only difference that we really, and it depends in game plans, like, versus certain teams, like how they're leveraged. But if we get overtake looks and we are tossing the ball, we may be a little bit looser as far as if we're the trail guy in the combo. So we know we really want to get the ball outside on this particular scheme or whatever it is, then yeah, we'll maybe hook them a little bit more, be a little bit more, our aiming point will be more to the play side. But other than that, no, we really don't teach much different because the back, initially he's taking his steps So the toss looks like the ball's going, hard outside, but then he's rounding it off and going to his landmark, whatever that is on the scheme.
Okay, the next one's from Drew Duke. He's in the chat right now. I'm going to unmute his mic.
What's up, Drew?
Coach, just you brought up the side outside zone, how it changes some of the landmarks. Does it change? How does that change for y'all, and how does that change the back when you're in the gun going across the ball?
Yeah. So one-on-one blocks. It really, if we're just one-on-one, we're still going for the play side number. But if we're in a combination, now instead of our aiming point being the play side armpit, now we're tightening it down and going to the play side number. Because we know, like, if we're a center and guard running to a 3 technique, the ball's probably not getting outside that 3 technique. So we're tightening it down on the front side. Center, is working through, making sure that 3 doesn't slant and then going up. So it tightens the lead man, I should say. I had a really long answer. It just tightens the lead man in the combo from the armpit to the number.
Gotcha. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, you bet, Drew.
Okay, the next one's from Gene Rollins. He said, do you have any rules to determine who the lead and trail blockers are?
Yeah, it just depends. It goes covered to uncovered. So if you're the covered guy, then you're the lead man in the combo. So if you have, if you're the guard and you got the 3 technique and you're working with the center, and the center's uncovered, that's basically how that's determined is, covered to uncovered.
Okay, the next one's Bill Durkin. He's in there. I'm going to unmute his mic.
Hey, my question was your outside zone versus 4 down, play side 3 technique. When is it guard center, front to the backer versus center guard, backside guard to the backer?
For us, I always want to get rid of, like, if we have a 3, as long as that linebacker is inside that 3 technique, I want that center to go. I don't want him looking at that 3 technique. If that wherever your target is, if he gets outside the 3, then that's where we're going to work that front side combo. Or if it's offset gun, if we're in the gun and the back's offset backside, then we're always going to work the center guard combo, because now if that 3 plays up the field or slightly inside and the ball's handed off, with that backside handoff, he can come and make the play. But if it's under center, if we're in the home position, whether you're a pistol or under center, as long as that target is inside that 3 technique, the guard's one-on-one with the 3 and the center's getting through.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
The next one's from Joseph Malor. He's in there. I'm going to unmute his mic.
Hey, Coach. You showed some clips of against wide zone strong against a 9 technique, the tackle and tight end working together. I was wondering if you ever against a 9 would work the tackle and guard together on the 3 technique to a backer.
Yes, we do that quite a bit. Yeah, as long as that backer isn't over the tackle, if he's on the 3 or inside, and we feel good about that matchup with the tight end, then we go through and we call it double, and we just go up, and the tight end will block out on the 9 technique. I think the clip I showed, it was Khalil Max. We were kind of like, hey, go help on the 9 technique. So it all depends on who the guy is, I should say.
Okay, the next one's Joseph Greensman.
How you doing, Coach? You talked about the landmarks being a little bit different from the gun to under center. Just what do you think a good landmark is for the running back with the being in the gun? And do you teach anything else different for the running back?
Yeah, basically, if we're running in the gun, the back tightens up a gap. So wherever your landmark is, and it all depends on kind of what you guys do, But for us, we just tighten it down a gap. So if it's whatever, if he's running at the outside leg of the tight end, now he's running at the inside leg of the tight end or the C gap. You know what I mean? So it just tightens it all down a gap for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, you bet.
And the next one's Jacob Samuel.
Hi, Coach. Could you tell a little bit about the lead back, and if you have two backs in the backfield, what the rules you have for that back in the backfield?
Are you talking about like the fullback?
Yes.
He's running. So I guess there's a few different things. If you're running, basically you're trying to read it like the back. But if you're running to the open side, let's say you're running your classic wide zone to the open side where the fullback has the will. He's running at the inside leg of the tackle and then reading it just like the running back. So the halfback might be running outside more. Fullback's going to be running at the inside leg of the tackle and then finding the seam to that will. The biggest thing for us, once he gets up to that will, is just coaching that fullback. Your aiming point is just like the old linemen's, where now we're one-on-one blocking. We got to get our hat to the play side number. Okay, so you see a lot of times where the fullback hits the inside number and the backer plays outside and then makes the play. As long as that fullback is pressing the outside number, you're going to get that linebacker to play out even more. Or he gets to the outside number and now you've cut him out of that gap. Okay, so that's a big thing with the fullbacks, just stressing once you get to that backer, pressing that play side number.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
And that's all from the attendees. The only one I had for you, Coach, when you're game planning the wide zone play, how much are you trying to build your formation to where the combination linebacker you're working to is head up the weak? How far weak can you handle him or want him? When do you want him to be strong and overplay it for the cutback? Just in terms of the full holistic approach to building that play in.
Yeah, as much as possible, if we can get, because for us, we want to get the ball outside. That's where
Right.
we want to. That's where we want to start. So anytime we can get that linebacker inside the D lineman that we're comboing, that's especially on like tackle tight end combos, everything like that. That's gold. If we can get that head up to inside of the tight end and then that backer inside, that's the perfect world right there. What we're looking for. As far as creating angles, we always want that front side combo. We always want that backer inside whoever we're comboing. That's if he gets outside, that's not the perfect world, and there's adjustments for that. But as we go, you can adjust your schemes to, let's say, the mic's outside. Now everyone's pulling their targets back, and now we're putting someone on the mic. You know what I mean?
Right.
If we're out leveraged, so
Sure.
you can kind of trick your schemes that way
Right.
to adjust it. So
I know some of those you brought motion over there, you brought shift over there, and brought that other number to gain some of those angles.
Yeah.
They plus with that, maybe new strength if it's a tight end. Is that when you're getting that call system of bumping it back in, or are you just living with it? You're behind the clock.
It depends on the play. Like we
Okay.
have the ability to do that within the play, but certain ones we don't because maybe the receiver's tied into it and things like that. So it just kind of depends on the play of our system. But I will say usually we'll start the play where we're targeting the furthest guy backside. You know what I mean?
Right.
We'll start
Right.
the play that way and then push it if we have to. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So we'll start kind of the opposite. We're always accounting that we're going to have good angles, and then if all of a sudden we're not, then we push it.
Which allows your backside tackle more often than not to be able to be big on the defensive end.
Correct.
If -1, say the point, is out of the box,
Yep.
you already got them cut off instead of just fighting the whole trying to reach the 3-tech game and
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. We got one more, Daniel Hill. me see. I gotta add them in here. We have one more. We have a pass protection question.
Oh yeah. All right.
Here we go. Let me find them here.
Those are easy questions. Just get Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. You're going to get nothing to worry about.
That
Those are easy questions.
that's the big question right
There
there.
you go.
That solves a lot of problems, Bob.
Okay.
Can you hear me this time?
Gotcha. Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
Coach, thanks for the great presentation. The question I had is, a lot of people will marry pass protections and the timing of the concepts. Do you try to marry pass protections with throwing lanes? And what's your starting point for studying that if you do that?
Yeah. So when we hear, for example, like all the outside zones, most of the time we have play passes off that.
Yeah.
So we'll assume it's a 7-step drop with the quarterback. And then there's certain route words that we hear. So we hear whatever the play pass is, we hear a route term. We know, okay, he's planning off his 5th step and he's throwing it into whatever window he's trying to get to. We can be more aggressive.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Because we know, okay, this term means he's going to plant faster and get rid of it. Or there may be other terms where now it's going to be a 9-step drop instead of a 7-step drop. As Bob knows, for some reason, offensive coordinators really love those, where they can just take all the time they want and launch it down the field. But
And that quarterback can pat the ball twice.
yeah, twice, maybe 3 times. But anyways, so yeah, there's different route terms that tell us, the depth of the route or how fast it's going to come out.
Does
I
that?
got a question for you.
Sure.
All right, on a 34 defense, okay, we're running a stretch play, okay, the outside zone play, okay, and you're telling your backside guard, he in the center, obviously working the nose guard to the backside backer, okay, but the backside guard's attacking the line of scrimmage, he's attacking the nose guard, correct? Right? But if that linebacker runs through, is the backside tackle, now he's got the 4 technique on.
Yeah.
Is the backside tackle trying to get past that guy to that backer? Is he looking at that backer and saying, okay, he's running over the top. Now I need to cut the defensive end off. But if that back is running underneath it, right, do I leave the defensive end and get to the backer? How are you coaching that?
Yeah, so 2 things to start. If the center and guard are comboing to that backer, then the tackle, as long as that end doesn't loop out, that tackle's going to go right through that 4-eye and be vertical and cut that D end off. The guard, as you go on that nose, if that backer runs underneath, you snap off and fall back and get a piece of him, just like a tackle would if the Sam ran through or anything like that on a tackle tight end combo. So you're responsible for that if that guy runs underneath the block. A lot of times, what we try and do is eliminate that combination altogether. So if that backside backer is head up to maybe outside of the guard, then he's just going to go. And the center we make a middle call, center blocks the nose, and the backside guard just goes, just to eliminate that combination altogether. Because, you've seen it a million times. The center gets stuck on the nose, the guard sees color, he sticks on the center, and now no one gets up to that linebacker. So that's just one way that we try and handle it, is to read where he's at and then eliminate the combo if we can.
Yeah, I know. Years ago, we would tell the backside guy, we used to tell the backside, go down and cut the nose guard. Center, you're going to escape that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Go down and cut the nose. But, this goes way back with Alex. Okay, so
yeah,
we're trying to cut the nose. Okay, but I can't tell the guard to cut the nose, get back up, and block that linebacker if he runs on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the tackle was holding off the defensive end, checking the backer. So
okay.
I just wondered, there's different ways that you gave me, some other ideas. So
yeah,
excellent.
For me, I want to eliminate as many combos as possible, just so we can get on our landmarks fast and declare for the back what's happening. You know what I mean? So in that one, it's just like, if we can not get eaten up by the down guy, because that's what he's trying to do, is block the center and occupy the guard to free up that linebacker. If we can just eliminate that process right off the bat, that's what I like to do.
Now, say you got another one, okay? Say you have over defense, tight end's right, left hash, tight end's right. You're running a stretch play to the tight end, some type of force concept with the fullback going that way, okay? And you got over stacked defense, and you got a guy in the backside A gap, okay, or maybe even a one technique in the backside gap, but he's in that area right now. But sometimes they loop the guy back across the left guard's face, okay?
Yeah.
Are you having the tackle, backside tackle? Is he going to work with the guard just in case that happens, or are you telling the backside tackle, "Hey, look, if you can run to get that will linebacker, go." Okay?
If
God will adjust, take the guy crossing my face, and the guard will adjust back, or are you keeping the tackle and the guard together, right? Then the tackle makes the adjustment after, the ball.
So if the will is backside of the nose, then I'm going to tell the tackle to go and the guard to stay on the nose. You know what I mean? If, you'll get those two eyes, and then whoever they're working to, if he's stacked on the two eye or maybe even inside, now the tackle's going to run at the belt line of that nose, wherever he's at, and read him, and then off that. So he'll go 1, 2, and off that third step, that's where he determines, am I taking this guy over, or am I climbing up now to that to the nose guard? So that's kind of, hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Adam, great presentation. Absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? Really appreciate your time and the effort you put into putting all this together for us. And I want to, this, so you'll know that this clinic that we're doing, and you know the history of it, we went through that. But this is going all over the planet. This isn't going just to the States. This is going to, it's in Europe, it's in Germany, it's in Ireland, it's in England, and Scotland. You know what I mean? It's in Brazil, Mexico, Canada. It's all over the place. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I was fortunate enough through my travels as a player in the NFL. I did a tour in NFL Europe in Amsterdam. So it was pretty cool to be over there and just see like the impact that football has all over the world. It's pretty awesome.
I don't even know if we have people from China on this. Keith would know that, not me. But I did a thing for Rod Woodson and his foundation. And it was just for China. I didn't know that the NFL has an office in Singapore that promotes NFL American football in China. I never knew that. I mean,
that's
that was
pretty awesome.
It's pretty neat of how far the sport has extended itself on the planet.
Totally.
So I really appreciate your time. We appreciate your time. You know what I mean? Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. And if we can help you out, or I may have more questions for you later.
Sure.
I'll call you when you get out of camp.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you having me do this, man. For you to call me and ask me to do this, I was kind of blown away, to be honest. So that's pretty awesome.
Now, this is one of the great ones. This is one that is the hottest to prepare for you young coaches. Someday you'll get up and you will, present, like Adam's doing now. And like there's going to be a guy, Marty Costello, who's been coming to this thing since he was 23. He's now in his 40s. And he got a Grey Cup ring. He won the Grey Cup.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he, you know what I mean? So it's the hottest one to prepare for because all the guys you're speaking to, you really can't bullshit them.
No shit. That's absolutely.
You can't because they know what you're talking about. I mean,
right.
They're judging you. So I can't thank you enough for doing this. This is absolutely wonderful.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Have fun in camp.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.